I see a lot of like misconceptions and stuff. Right? So, first thing, if you can prevent, you can do as much preventative work as possible before they get round full to your side, or before they can get a good soft position. That's the best defense, or that's the best escape, is, not having to start from square one. We do this, to practice getting out of like the worst spot. But ideally, if he's in my guard and he passes my legs, I'm going to start my escape right away. I'm not going to wait till he gets all the way over and then escape, right? So you're going to set up your defenses before, they get a good position. So that's the first thing to keep in mind. And the second thing is posture, because there's, people think of posture like in like guard. You want to be looking up or straight forward. You want to be looking down, straight back, that kind of thing. But posture also has to do with on the bottom, having a defensive posture. So if I'm here on the bottom and I'm in side control and my head's up, that's number one. If my head's straight up, he has easy access to my head, cross face, meaning turn me away, and just have control of my head and my spine. And it's going to be, it's turning my head away. I can't turn toward them because my back's flat on the mat and my head won't go there. Okay? So, first thing is just glue your head to the mat. And that makes it hard for him to get his hand behind your head. He's going to have to fight for it. Okay? Second thing is to fight the crossface. Okay? Even if my head's glued, if I'm like focusing up here, he can still find a way, and then I'm in a bad spot. Okay? So head's glued to the mat, and I'm blocking his cross-facing arm north side. Okay? If he's moving his arm around, you don't want to move your arm too far from your side. So I don't want to reach forward like this. He's gonna swim, and my arm's separated from my body, so now he has control over that arm, keep that arm isolated, and I'm just getting in the worst spot. So you have your defensive posture here, your head's glued, you're blocking the cross face, and you're not gonna let your arm get too far from your side. If he reaches over my head, I just follow until it's over my head, and then I come back here and block the head. Okay? This hand, there depends on which escape we're going to do, but for right now, we're going to keep this hand just kind of glued to your side here, and if his head comes close to your chest, you're just going to brace in front of his neck here, just cup his shoulder. So right now, you're kind of like this. If his head's low, I'm right here. Okay? So I'm blocking the cross face. Here, I'm kind of framed here, and my head's low, so you can't do it. Can't get a cross face. So this is your defensive spot. This is the way you want to be. Your leg here is jamming into his hip. Okay? A lot of people just set their legs on their knee like this and think it's good defense, like it's stopping him from going from the mountain. It's really not doing much. It might get in the way, but he's got control over my hips and he can mount me. Okay? So this knee has to be active. Okay? It's not going straight into his ribs. It's trying to fit in that space here. And I'm putting pressure with my opposite leg, pushing against his hip this way. So that way, if he tries to mount, it can be really difficult for him to mount. Then I build my shield. I just bring my knee to my elbow, and I can start my escape. Okay? So that's the defensive posture I want you guys to kind of keep in mind. That's not going to happen every time. Okay? Because sometimes you can't get this crossface. Like you're here, or maybe you're looking, or you turn a little bit and you lift your head up, and they get that underhook, and now you're going to have to fight for to stop that cross face or to get out. Okay? So we're going to go over the first basic hip escape, or side control escape. Your arm, blocking in his hip. The elbow is in front of his neck, up in his shoulder. Okay? If you end up here, there's a lot of different ways you can get this arm in front. One of my favorites is bringing against their head, and then bringing my arm in. So it's kind of create space this way, and then bring your elbow in front. Or you can bring your hand in and wedge your hand underneath your chin here. It's kind of a mean way to do it, but it works. Okay. So now the bridge. Okay. The bridge, I see a lot, this is one thing I want people to pay attention to is, you know, your hips are the strongest part of your body. And you want to use them to, you know, to the most efficient way. So if I go to bridge for this and I bridge straight up, it's not really doing a whole lot because his weight is more on my chest than anything. So I'm not really pushing, I'm not really getting any weight off of me. In reality, if I just bridge straight up, I'm not doing as much good as I want to do. Okay? So you want to bridge at an angle into them. You want to bridge over the shoulder that's closest to them. Okay? So you're going to be bridging mainly off your outside foot. Okay? So when you bridge, you're going to bridge over the shoulder that's coming into them this way. Okay? And see how it kind of moves his body off of me this way? Now, from here, I'm blocking his hip, but I'm also blocking in front of his neck. Okay? And I'm not pushing him away. That's another key thing that people mistake is they feel like once they're here, they should start pushing away. And you're not going to be able to do that when they're driving their weight into you. Okay? So when you bridge into them, and then you hold them as a brace. And you move yourself away. You move your hips away. The space that's being made there is not on the way up. You're not going to be super powerful and buck them off most of the time. The space right here, the space that I made is underneath me, and I need to get that space in between me and him. To do that, I'm going to put myself in that space. And now I have the space in front of me. Okay? So when you do that, when you bridge up, scoot your hips away, your knee, your bottom knee, you're bring it in and hit your elbow. You want to connect your knee and elbow. Okay? And then, once you're here, you can start retaining guard. You're going to bring your outside foot close and stretch away. Okay? Bringing your knee across the belt. Okay? From here, you know, it's kind of hard to come over on this, I guess. You got to be active when you're here because there's passes. You know, you're not out. You know, you just created space, and now you're creating more space. But it's if you're not active here, it's easy for them just to pass right back into side control. So you got to stay active here. So push away and keep this arm underhooked and away from pushing your knee back down. If they just, if I come here and I'm pushing here, you just whip, and right back into side control. Okay? So I got to keep this away. That's going to deter. It's not stopping you. It's not stopping you by any means, but it's hindering him a little bit. Okay? So I create space. I get my knee through, get my shoulders back. Now it's hard. I can't get my leg through. It's kind of stuck. So a tip that helps out here is pushing against his hip and scooting your hips back this way to get your foot down to the mat. Then, once your foot is down to the mat, shift your hips all the way underneath. You can bring your foot back out, and now you're in guard. You can, even if they stay kind of planted there, you're kind of in a better position. You can start looking at different submissions and attacks from there. Okay? So, key things is obviously build your defense before anything gets worse. But once we're in a bad spot, you can still get out, okay? So get your frame in, okay? Get your frame in front of his neck, get your frame in front of his hips, okay? Don't bridge straight up, bridge over the shoulder into him. So you're gonna basically be putting a lot of pressure with this outside foot, okay? You have your knee going into his hip to stop him from getting him out, which is a really bad position for you. So you're here, bridge over your shoulder, and then scoot your butt in. Now, if you guys can see, my knee, the second I scoot my butt away, my knee went right to my elbow there. And this is your first line of defense, because as long as I'm here, he can shift his hips and go different side mounts, and he doesn't have all the control that he wants because I have this wall built, okay? So I build my wall. Here, I create more space and I keep him from stuffing my leg. Okay, now he's gonna be probably pushing into me. So it's hard for me, I can't get my leg through. So I scoot my hips away, put my leg on the ground. Now I scoot my hips all the way underneath. Get my leg out and get guard. Okay? Any questions on that? No? Okay, let's give that a shot. It's not gonna work out if you just kind of do it like this. Your bridge, it's your most powerful movement that you have. Okay? So use it to your advantage. You're gonna have to, jiu-jitsu's not about burning zero energy, it's burning, less than your opponent, basically. So you're gonna have to burn some energy at some point, and why not use it with your strongest movement, right? You're not gonna use it with your arm, they're not the strongest part of your body. So when you bridge, you're really bridging hard into them. Okay, I'm not gonna be like, I'm bridging them, bridge really hard into them, okay? So that's just something to keep in mind. So the next thing is we're doing everything else the same, okay? You got block, we got our frame here, got our knee in from keeping him from going to mount, and we bridge. But I scoot, and I can't get my knee in. He's got it blocked, and I just can't get my knee in. So we're gonna go the other way. Instead of going this way, our hips coming underneath, we're gonna go away. So I block his hips, and I scoot my hips away, and I hide my head. I try to get my head inside, okay? And that's gonna be the battle part of it, and that's where this frame really comes into play, okay? Your top hand, a lot of people push away like this, and that's wrong, you're gonna get choked. Your elbow is the one that does the work, okay? You steer with your elbow, okay? So when I'm creating space, I lift my elbow. I'm not pushing, bench pressing into him, I'm using my elbow to hold the block, okay? Then from here, I'm scooting my hips away, and I hide my head, okay? And I'm gonna go to my knees, but I'm not gonna go to my knees yet, because it's gonna be really hard. You can still put weight in my shoulders, and it's hard for me to get to my stomach, okay? So from here, I scoot my hips, boom, away, I scoot my hips away again. So now my body's more in line with this. My top arm was a frame, now swims underneath to his belt. Now my bottom leg comes underneath, and I turn belly down. Then from here, climb, hook a leg, and start your takedowns or back takes or whatever from there. Okay? It's important to not turn your knees too early. So that's gonna burn energy. And then also, from here, I can't get my knee through, so I scoot away. Scoot away, I hide my head. Really try to get your head on the inside. Tuck your chin. It might be kind of hard because you're going to be holding on. So use your frame. Get your space. Put your forehead right in their shoulder so they can't cross face you. Keep scooting your hips back. Scoot your hips back. Your elbow, you turn your hand underneath their armpit to their belt. Okay? From here, my bottom leg goes underneath my top leg, and I turn to my stomach. Okay? Don't go and try to get on your knees here. It's going to be kind of hard. So turn all the way to your stomach, and then crawl. And I like to personally hook their knee and their ankle here, because you can start torquing their hips and push a little bit, and then stick your head up, take it back, or they fall. Any questions on that? No? Good.